Streamers. We all love watching them lose their insanity over a video game, be it casual or hardcore. They will do anything to entertain us. There are also some who actually help us cope with our mommy issues. But in this manga, you will see a streamer who can raise up any girl you see on the streets, and this affects princesses to a literal goddess. Yep, you heard me right, guys. This manga is called Man Seriously. Who's naming these? Anyways, so the story revolves around a streamer nerd who gets reincarnated to another world and invents streaming to fix world hunger. Yep, guys, thanks to his fame, his fans, who are basically world leaders, become literal sugar mommies. But wait, it doesn't stop there. They don't just listen to everything he says, but actually worship him as God and go full Yandere Yuki on him. Trust me, I know that half of my mentally ill subscribers don't see a problem with that and badly want a pink-haired Yandere girlfriend. I'm not judging you guys, because secretly, I want one too.
The story starts with our MC, Kanata, who is streaming to a large audience. Suddenly, he gets questioned by a viewer. If he was asked to be transported to another life, what would he do? MC replies only that becoming a streamer is not something he would recommend. By the end of this manga, you wouldn't agree with him. The next day, MC is headed home from school and is a little serious. When he gets home, his energy is changed in a matter of seconds. He hangs his uniform, gets to his computer desk, puts on the headphones, and is ready to have another streaming session. He is quite hyped up and is ready to answer questions from his viewer. He would have a chat/advice segment on his streams, and people are eager to get his advice on daily life happenings. A guy named Akuta gets on the voice chat with him. He tells him that a mediocre guy with supportive magic joined his party, and as a leader, he kicked him out. MC right away mocks him that this idea of kicking that guy was stupid, and he should beg him to come back to his party. Since supportive magic is very useful and can warn you about the dangers ahead beforehand and can also repair weapons and shields for you, Akuta does not like this answer, but MC stands by his words and is confident that he is right. Another guy tells him that he is currently engaged but is developing feelings for another very beautiful girl. So what should he do? MC furiously tells him that he hopes he dies and she ends up marrying him instead. Wait, what kind of threat is that? He adds that he should feel lucky to be engaged and should try to love his fiancée and not drool over other girls. MC feels very satisfied after scolding a random guy and wonders if this is how streamers felt in his previous lives. The narrator tells us a little about MC, that he was a special kid with abilities like no one else. He had unlimited magical powers, based on which he got enrolled in the Royal Academy. Only rich and noble people are a part of this academy. The next day, while he's attending a magic class, he is contemplating his life. Relatable man. He is interrupted by two nobles that are bullying MC. However, Maria enters the class. As she enters, she looks flushed and is having difficulty breathing. The teacher asks her name and lets her enter the class. The teacher asks her to perform magic today, but another student gets up and takes the spotlight. He powers up his fire magic and shoots the target. He gets the target right in the center. What a show-off! The teacher asks MC to take the next turn. He fires and blows up the target. Everyone is shocked and two bullies are in denial and cannot believe their eyes. Maria lets them know that they should accept that MC has what it takes to enter the academy and they should leave him alone. After that, Maria tells MC how amazing his powers are and tells him to stop provoking people even though the nobles started the trash talk. Maria is from the royal family and is the third princess in the line. Everybody respects her. After some time, MC gets home and once again gets on his streaming session. Suddenly, he remembers that the computer he owns was actually a work terminal which he managed to turn into a streaming platform for everyone. He used his magic powers to create a streaming platform and everyone is now connected through it. Bro is actually Mark Zuckerberg. His immense powers are the reason his platform is successful, because normal people run out of power if they try streaming. Anyways, he explains to the viewers what happened today. He shares his feelings that the commoners and nobles should get along and everyone should accept everyone. When suddenly, a donation with a text appears. It is a 10 gold coin donation. The donation is from a princess letting MC know that she is very happy to hear his voice again and that she would love it if he would be her lover. See, I told you streaming isn't that bad. MC is confused but still answers her. He tells her if they get a chance to meet, he would surely consider her proposal. We get to know that it is actually Princess Maria, who anonymously sends daily donations to MC because she is in love with him. She also really loves his objective takes in every advice he gives out to his viewers. She sends him donations every day, and today she finally asks him out. The narrator explains that this is just the beginning of people with strange requests showing up on MC's stream. This is only gonna get worse from here. The narrator explains that this is the world where MC is reincarnated and has chosen the streaming platform. MC is actually the only streamer in this world. However, things are changing a little because Yandere's princess listens to him every day and gives him donations to sustain his living. Anyways, MC is going home after a normal day of school where he gets mocked time after time. It has gotten worse after the explosion incident. He is headed home and is taking the route where fewer people are on the way. He is kind of introverted in a way and avoids social interactions. While he's turning around the corner, he sees that guy from before. He's telling Maria that he loves her. Maria hesitantly says no to him. The guy asks her if she has a fiancé already because of being the third princess. She tells her she is allowed to find love for herself. She adds that she is actually in love with some other guy and cannot just cast aside her feelings for him. The guy is heartbroken. He runs away wishing her well and telling her that he hopes she stays happy. Typical heartbroken jealous dude. MC is watching all this, hiding behind the building. He gets the feeling that Maria is actually his type and he thinks she is an elegant and beautiful lady. Furthermore, he thinks anyone who gets to be her boyfriend would be lucky. Thinking this, he decides to change his route and go home using the long way. As soon as he turns around to go the other way, Maria stops him. She tells him that listening to other people's conversations is not a good thing and he should not do that. How did she know that? What a hypocrite. The MC feels busted and freaks out. He tells her that this is his way back home and he did not mean to listen to their conversation. She is a little shy, but she lets him know that it was just a joke. MC thanks her for not yelling at him. He says this and is on the way to his home. Maria does not know that he is actually the streamer, but she kind of recognized his voice. She is a little suspicious about him now. Back home, MC is streaming as normal and Maria is excited to hear his voice again. She is ready to ask him a good question and is thinking about what she should ask him. Maria asks the streamer that demons are the race that should be wiped out, but as soon as she said this, streamers interrupted her. He tells everyone that all of us should be living in peace and not try to fight all the time. He also says that he has not met any demons as of now, so he cannot answer this question very well. Listening to this, every viewer is mad because he just defended the demon race. This kind of behavior is taboo. Streamer continues to tell her that there are bad guys among humans as well. Isn't it possible that there are good guys among demons too, who would love to live in peace with the rest of the world? He continues saying that this is like slavery and other frowned upon things. MC is curious and asks her, did she not ask him about the slavery thing a long time ago? Some time ago, when Maria did not know the streamer, she was headed somewhere in her royal cart when she saw an odd-looking place. She asked her driver to stop. Turns out, it was a slave market, and she was shocked to see this place. She thought that slavery was a thing of the past and did not exist nowadays. Maria did not like the place. Sad to see what she saw, Maria goes under a tree and is thinking what she can do to make sure that slavery ceases to exist. Her servant, Sebaz, gives her a phone and informs her that there is a guy called a streamer that listens to what everybody has to say. He also advises people in need, and everybody seems to agree with his thoughts. She, without any other thought, tells the streamer that slavery should be non-existent. Streamer is shocked to know that slavery still exists. He thinks that taking people's right to live freely is one of the worst things you can do. He tells the anonymous princess that if she is an actual princess, she should be the one to make sure slavery does not exist anymore. And that is exactly what she did after that. With the help of her father, the king, she managed to wipe out slavery from every part of the world. This was something that made Princess get attached to the streamer because he inspired her to do good in the world. Now, she decides to once again be the one to make sure that nobles and commoners get along very well and that discrimination is not a thing anymore. As she is thinking this, the girls in the chat are fighting over which of them is suitable for the streamer. Watching this fight, Maria decided to donate a lot of money with colored text, saying that she is the best person to be with the streamer. MC tells everybody that he does not like this kind of behavior. This streaming platform has become OnLifeFans at this point. Maria feels ashamed. So the MC forgives her and she gets happy. MC once again says that he wonders what the Demon King is like, and he wishes to see him. Everybody freaks out, telling him to stop talking about this topic. He is unaware that talking about demons is taboo. In the demon realm, Shruza defeated some humans. She does not kill them, rather she lets them go to the human realm, making a portal for them. She lets them leave and thinks to herself that humans and demons fighting is not the right choice. Before the controversial statements by MC, Shruza's assistants come to her and inform her about the device that adventurers just dropped on their way here. It is a mobile phone that can let Shruza listen to the streamer. This interests Shruza. She tells her assistant to get the signals up and running as there are no signals right now for the device to work. She does that and sets up the computer table for Shruza. She is not that interested in MC's streaming sessions, but she is bored out of her mind. She thinks that this is a good thing to kill time and nothing else. A few days later, Shruza is listening to the streamer. Streamers ask everyone about what they ate today. Shruza types that she ate meat for breakfast, but she does not send the message, thinking about why would he respond to her. There is no reason for the streamer to respond. So she deletes the message, thinking no matter what, she is just killing time and nothing else. As time passes, she notices that MC's calming streams are now a part of her routine, and she cannot seem to get away from the computer screen. She is just fascinated to see that a human has so many powers that allow him to make his own streaming platform. The streamer says that demons and humans should get along and try not to fight. It will just increase the death count and nothing else. Shruza is shocked. She is shocked that the streamer has the same opinions just like her, and he thinks along the same lines. Shruza is now more fascinated and thinks MC is her comrade. In the present day, Shruza is also one of the donors, and the streamer is overwhelmed. She is donating so much and is also determined to be his personal wallet, just like Maria. I wish I had someone like that. Shruza feels very happy to make donations to the streams, but is also mad when Maria, the princess, donates as well. So she is furious about the donation, but right then, the streamer tells everyone that he wishes to see the Demon Lord. Shruza is actually the Demon Lord and is very surprised that a human wishes to meet her. This thought is stuck in her mind as she is taking a bath. She thinks to herself that she would gladly let the streamer rule her body and she would easily grant every wish the streamer makes. Thinking this, she decides to dress up and make a portal to the human realm. Shruza is ready to meet MC, the streamer. So she enters the human realm. Eventually, she gets into the castle of the king and appears right next to the king. Meanwhile, MC wakes up. He looks out the window and sees chaos outside. Everybody's freaking out over today's news. It's a picture of the king kneeling down in front of a demon, surrendering and demanding a ceasefire. Looks like the streamer's wish came true, and he's not aware that his words could change the world. One good afternoon, MC is fixing up his computer. Once he is done, he decides to tell the viewers when he will get on the stream. He is a little tired and decides to eat outside today. So he walks outside, eating and loving the vibe outside. Suddenly, he hears a guy shouting at a lady. The lady bumps into this guy accidentally and drops sauce on his shirt. MC observes while the guy is constantly shouting at this poor lady. The guy tells her to make up for the mistake she made. MC thinks that he should interfere and protect this lady, so he walks up to the guy. MC tells him that he should not make a big deal out of this and should let this lady go. She did not hurt you or something, right? MC asks him to let go of her, and he would not. In a blink of an eye, MC grabs the guy's arm, and this guy could not believe what just happened. He ran away freaking out. MC says she could have apologized at least, right, miss? But she would not respond. MC asks her if something is wrong. She tells him that she recognized his voice. MC is confused if she is one of his viewers. He is excited that if she just saved a viewer girl, he could have a chance to start a romantic life with her. But he thinks it is just a misunderstanding. Without a response to what she said, MC advises her to go home before something like this happens again. She adds that she could have chased him, but she could have injured him, so she decided not to. She says it is alright. MC says he thinks she is one of those girls that are secretly strong. She is confused but thanks him for saving her from that weird guy. MC tells her that he likes protecting cute girls like her because it lifts up his mood. She is flattered and says there are a lot of people that are more pretty than her. Saying this, the lady sees a bandage on MC's hand and asks what happened to him. He tells her that he got bruised yesterday while cleaning up but it will heal soon. The lady nods. She tells him that he is a good person and MC tells her the same, stroking her head gently. She is a little surprised at this. He thinks that she felt assaulted. She tells her that they are the same age. She out of nowhere shows MC her cleavage and tells him that her body is also rightly developed. She has a cross between her melons. MC freaks out and leaves saying goodbye. On the way back, MC is wondering if she was a sister in practice because of the cross. We get to know that this lady is actually a saintess. She gets back to her home and is welcomed by a fellow sister. She asks the saintess about what happened today. The saintess tells her and she is furious to hear about this. The saintess calms her down saying that they should despise the sin, not the person. Sister thinks she is very merciful. What we see is that saintess is also one of the streamer's viewers. She gets on the stream and is excited to hear the streamer's voice. She finds his voice calming and relaxing. She explains that she purifies her body every day listening to his voice. She feels that she is going to get pregnant just by listening to his voice. As she is feeling all of this, the streamer tells everybody that he can now show his hands on the streams, as his hands are now visible on the screen. Saintess is shocked to see those same hands on streamer's stream which she just saw some time ago. She is shocked to her core and cannot believe that this is the same guy she met today. MC unknowingly doxed himself today. MC is on his stream, experimenting with a new feature he added to his stream. He is showing his hands using a camera and everyone is happy to see that. He thinks for a second if people could guess his identity just by looking at his hands. He ignores the thought and continues to stream. Meanwhile, the saintess is freaking out really bad knowing that she just met his favorite person ever in the real world today. She cannot believe her eyes. On the other hand, Shruza is worried sick about what happened to him. Everybody is worried about him looking at his hands. He calms everyone down by saying that it's just a bruise that will heal soon. He extracts a little lesson out of this and lets everyone know that they should always be aware of their surroundings. He tells them he did this to himself cleaning his bookshelf. Everyone is now at peace and the streaming session is now going normally. After reading his viewer's letter for 2 hours, he gets a very strange letter. This guy tells MC that he is the Thief Guild's leader Mantis and he just hates his streaming. He threatens MC and tells him to be mindful of the camera he just added to his stream. Listening to this threat, Shruza, Saintess, and Princess Maria are pissed off and decide individually to find this man and kill him. Meanwhile, MC is a little concerned as to who this is and why he hates him. He understands that someone can hate him on the basis that he gets donations daily for just streaming. People are like this and can be angry at this. MC wipes off the concerned face and with a smile and confident voice, tells Mantis to stop threatening people like this. He says he could go to jail for these kinds of things, so he should just back off. Saying this, he gets on with his stream, reading more letters. However, the princess, Shruza, and the saintess are mad. The princess sends her knight, Shruza sends her soldier demon, and the saintess goes herself to find this Mantis and take care of him. Hours later, after threatening the streamer, Mantis is sitting inside a cave in solitude. All of a sudden, Princess's knight appears in this cave. Mantis is afraid of him and tries to run away when he stumbles and falls down. On the ground, he tries to crawl away, but the knight stabs the sword right through his hand, stopping him right then and there. The saintess is also right behind the knight, helping him make Mantis pay. The demon soldiers are on their way to do the same when they see the knight and the saintess already on the job. They stop a little back and watch as a knight and saintess torture Mantis. This serves as an example that no one can threaten the streamer and get away with it. The next day, MC is in the class sitting at his desk. Students are reading the news that Mantis was tracked down and killed by the Royal Knights. Hearing them say this name, MC recalls that he heard this name before somewhere, but he could not seem to remember where. As he is thinking, another student walks by him and drops his handkerchief on the ground accidentally. MC informs him about this, but he simply ignores him. This makes MC feel very sad and he cannot feel more low. His school life is more miserable than before. He cannot stand all the students chattering together when the teacher enters the class. The teacher gets everybody's attention by letting them know that another new student will be joining this class shortly. Everybody is very excited to hear this. The teacher tells them that this is all of a sudden, but this student will be here temporarily. He introduces this student to the class. He tells everybody that this student has ties with the royal family. He adds that she is of utmost importance to the capital and has never shown her face publicly but decided to, thinking about her future. As he says all this, the student enters the class and MC is shocked. It's the Saintess. Her real name is Alfana. Everybody is so excited that the Saintess joined their class. She is surrounded by students. She feels like a celebrity right now. Meanwhile, MC is thinking about her and that he has heard and read about Saintesses before. Every decade, a person with a mana and personality befitting the Saintess is selected. This means that the Saintess is a very important person. A student asks Alfana why she joined this class. She replies that she wanted to do a little societal observing. But she said she has a different goal in her mind as well while looking at MC. Meanwhile, MC is thinking that she is also a friend of Princess Maria. He wonders why she is not in the CES class. Thinking about all this, MC is glad that she decided to forgive him for the way he behaved with her. He thinks she probably does not even remember his face. Suddenly, a noble walks up to the Saintess and introduces himself very confidently. He says that he is of the CES class and next in line for the Landor house. He informs Saintess that the princess is absent today and in her place, he would gladly give her a tour of the school. This guy is very confident in his tone. Alfana respects his idea but tells him no. She also tells him to ask for permission before calling her name like that. He regrets his decision to talk to Alfana. All the other students start laughing at this noble student making fun of himself. MC composes himself while their next class is outside. Outside, Alfana is asked to perform and she just impresses everyone with her magical powers. The nobles are figuring out a way to make her notice them. Meanwhile, MC feels the way the nobles think is pathetic and they should focus on themselves. Next for the performance, MC is called. MC is on the way to the shooting point and passes Alfana on the way. Alfana tells him all the best. MC is surprised that she remembers him and is now ready to show off his powers to her. He shoots the target and as usual, blasts the target. Everyone is pissed off at his powers and MC ignores every comment that is passed. Alfana, on the other hand, is pissed that nobles are insulting a peasant student just because he has greater magical powers than them. She tells them she thought this insulting norm is a joke when she heard it from Maria, but it is true. She lectures all the nobles insulting MC and tells them that they should be ashamed. Nobility is not something that makes you special. Being insulted by a saintess, nobles are even more angry at MC now. Meanwhile, MC is thinking that he did not get the chance to talk to Saintess. He ignores the thought and starts to get hyped up for the streaming session he is planning to have when he gets home. He is thinking about what he will be talking about in the stream when Alfana shows up to him suddenly. MC is shocked to see her. Alfana shows up and MC is freaking out. Alfana tells him that she was exploring the school when she ended up here. She tells him that she is glad that they meet again. MC is confused. He is surprised that she is the girl he met in town. She tells him that he does not have to be cautious around her and he can talk casually in front of her. She does not like that he is being formal around her. He agrees and she is very happy now. Meanwhile, MC is thinking that he is alone with the Saintess, and if anybody sees him, it is going to be bad for both of them. He looks around and finds no one. He takes a breather when suddenly Alfana grabs her hand gently and with a cute, adorable face asks him if she can call him MC. She also wants him to call her by her name Alfana. MC is confused and asks her if that is okay because she did not like that earlier in the class with that noble. She insists that he calls her by her name. She tells him that they are lucky to meet again so he can grant her wish. MC clears his throat and says, "Okay, Alfana." This makes her melt like butter, and she just falls almost unconscious. He finds her weird and how she is reacting just now. She felt the sky falling for her when he called her by her name. MC thinks she is cute and adorable. Alfana believes that now that he called her by her name, he has agreed to marry him. She is blinded by her feelings for him. He asks her what happened. Alfana says she feels sleepy, but we all know that was not the case. The next day, MC is entering the class thinking about where he should sit today. He enters and sees that Alfana is already in the class. He goes and sits at his table. All of a sudden, Maria is at the class door and calls Alfana. Everybody starts chattering as to why Maria is here in the S class. Alfana goes to her and Maria starts adoring Alfana by stretching her cheeks and playing with her in a friendly way. Meanwhile, all the students are looking at them and constantly feel overwhelmed by the view they are watching. MC is wondering why they are always the center of attention, but they always feel disinterested in everything going on around them. They always have fake reactions for everybody, but the reactions they showed him were a little too real. He thinks that maybe he is overthinking things and nothing else. At the same time, he feels lonely looking at them. MC also wants to make friends and have fun chats with them. He fills himself with courage and asks a random student excitedly about what he is having for dinner today. The student tells him to shut the hell up straight up, and MC is once again feeling lowest. MC says to himself that he is going to take a nap and talk to his viewers to feel a bit cheered up. Maria overhears him saying this and is focused on him. Alfana asks Maria what is wrong. She replies that it is nothing. At the same time, in Xander's empire, a certain noble's mansion, a guy is pissed off at the streamer and gives Crow a mission, which Crow accepts immediately. Crow asks who he has to kill. Noble tells him to not rush things and go about the mission slowly, step by step. Meanwhile, MC is in the class, face down on his desk. Students right next to him are talking about a crow that just appeared 100 kilometers from where they are. MC is thinking that many people do not know that crows are real. The crows in this world are not birds but assassins. He even tried to talk to his viewers, but many of them think crows are nothing but legends. He is glad that he was born into a clean family. The crow that appeared nearby would have nothing to do with him, so he relaxes and falls asleep till the next lesson. Meanwhile, Crow asks the noble who is his target. Noble says why is he rushing, to which Crow says that his time is valuable. Noble tries to slap him, but the crow is too fast, and he appears right behind him in the blink of an eye. Noble is shocked and is now afraid. He immediately tells him that the target is someone called a streamer. He goes on to explain that this streamer is guiding people about human rights, and because of that his slavery business is losing money. He is explaining further when Crow interrupts him. He says he does not need more information. Noble gives Crow the preliminary payment, but he refuses and tells him that he is not gonna fulfill his request. Right as he says that, he chops off Noble's head and kills him instantly. He explains that now that the client is dead, he can no longer fulfill this duty. The crow is out of there in no time. He flies to the clock tower and takes off his suit, and what we see is that it is actually a girl. She is also one of the streamer's protectors. Suddenly her phone beeps and it is a streamer. The streaming session is about to begin and she is excited to hear the streamer's voice. She wants him to scold her for being a useless assassin that does not work at night. As she is thinking this, she misses what the streamer just said and tells herself to focus. Streamer is telling his viewers that he tried to make friends today, but they all told him to shut up, so he wants his viewers to console him. He says this shakingly and every viewer feels this. Crow, Princess, Shruza, and Alfana are worried about him. He tells them that he was acting using water for crying sounds, but the story is true. The crow types what he wants to do with them. He responds to her message saying he does not want anything to happen to them, but he will try interacting clearly with them. Crow is very emotional listening to this. MC explains that even if they do not interact with him, they would eventually start to hold a conversation with him. That is enough accomplishment for him. Crow tells him that if they ever treat him worse again, just tell her. He responds that when they do, he will surely let his viewers know so can console him. Crow is very emotional and angry. She promises to herself if someone degrades the streamer, she will kill them. Somewhere in a brothel, Kana just finished up her duty. She came to her room where her boss was making her bed for her and has changed chairs for her. He tells her that all the customers were very happy and satisfied with her service as an ace of his company. She confidently says that it is because she is a good performer and she does not leave any customer unless they are satisfied. Kana asks her boss to leave her alone now so that she can enjoy his voice. He leaves her alone and she undresses. She gets in the covers and starts to wait for the streamer to get online. The streamer comes online and starts his stream. She is very excited after hearing his voice. The narrator explains that MC did not even know where his voice had reached. A princess, demon lord, saintess, an assassin, and now a prostitute is under his voice spell. The streamer tells everybody about his day, and Kana is thinking that she would be willing to give him her body in no time. She wants him to feel good about himself and be happy, that is all. We get to know that Kana was born in the slums. She was very poor and had no parents. She, in the moment of need, turned to the night business and started living off of that. She kept on doing the business to be where she is now, and she has worked hard for it. But prostitutes are not respected in any way. They are thought of as a dirty part of the country that no one wants to associate themselves with. We understand this when Kana and her work friends are sitting in the brothel when two guys are talking about prostitutes disrespectfully. Kana tells her friends that they should not stay here because they do not have to listen to all this nonsense. They are in the back room all saddened by what they heard from those guys when their boss comes in the room. He tells them that they should not worry about what they say and listen to the streamer as the stream is about to start. The stream starts. While reading letters from viewers, streamer reads a letter that was not something Kana and her friends wanted to hear. This letter says that he found out something that shook him to the core. He came across a harlot, and he did not like her even a little bit. He wished that they would not roam the city anymore and stop dirtying the city. Everybody is waiting for the streamer's response while Kana and her friends are also further saddened by what they just heard. The streamer starts scolding this guy and tells him who he thinks he is, that no one should judge anyone by their profession. Everyone works hard to earn their bread, and no one has the right to disrespect anyone about their hard work. He adds that he wants a world where no one is mocked for their profession and everyone lives in peace. Kana is surprised to hear this. She has not heard something like this from anyone ever before. From that point forward, his words reached the stream of kingdoms. This resulted in no one ever disrespecting prostitutes anymore, and they have their respect revived back. Meanwhile, in the present time, Kana listens to MC say that he tried making friends and they told him to shut up. She is very worried and is angry that why would someone treat the streamer this way. All fans had the same angry reaction to what the streamer shared with them. A week later, MC is walking in the market looking for the same delicious bread he ate before. Suddenly, Princess Maria shows up in front of MC. She says hello to him. Meanwhile, he is surprised to see her. He asks her if it is odd for her to walk alone in the market like this. She tells him it's fine even though her butler is panicking right now looking for her. MC tries to go his way by saying goodbye, but she does not let him go. Maria asks him if he can go on a walk with her alone. She is hesitant and is about to respond when Maria hears something nearby. It turns out a Xandered noble is harassing a girl. They are watching him bully this lady. Maria and MC look at each other and smirk, so they blast their attacks toward this noble, telling him to leave the girl alone. We see Kanata and Maria helping the lady. They seem to handle that noble fairly easily as he lets the lady go. However, the noble is very angry and tries to get a hold of Mara, but she dodges and mocks him, which makes him frustrated. He even tries to hit Maria, but Kanata grabs his hand and drops him to the ground. As the noble is on the ground, Kanata casts a spell on him. Therefore, he cannot move anymore and is stuck on the ground. Moreover, he is annoyed with this magic and warns Kanata. He reminds him that being a commoner, what he did to a noble is going to cost him a lot. However, he does not care a bit and says he just defended himself and nothing more. So Kanata asks the lady if she is okay. He looks at her and gets mesmerized by her beauty. She is very pretty, and Kanata thinks to himself, how is it possible that these kinds of beauties roam this earth? Wait till he knows her well. Anyways, the lady says that she is okay. She explains that this noble was forcing her to go with him. That is why he was harassing her. But that's where the noble interrupts the lady and explains that this lady is a filthy prostitute and nothing else. Moreover, he tells Kanata that he was just telling her to come with him and not trying to harass or attack her. At this point, Kanata is very confused to hear what he just said. So Kanata smilingly asks the noble who he thinks he is. The beauty has blinded the hero to listen to the other side of the story. Kanata believes that he cannot be the judge of what a girl does to provide for herself. Furthermore, he says that chasing a woman down an alley is more criminal than being a prostitute. Yeah, this argument is not good, so we are gonna move on. The lady gets shocked to hear what Kanata just said. She recognizes these words very confidently. Meanwhile, some people show up. So the noble tells these people that Kanata is a thief, and if they helped him catch this thief, he would reward them outstandingly. Turns out Maria is the one that brought these people to help Kanata. She also brought royal guards with her to arrest this noble. So now the noble is confused and doesn't understand where these knights came from. Therefore, the lady explains that these royal guards are here because the lady who brought them is far above any noble. She is the third princess of the royal family. The noble seems to be in shock while the knights arrest him. On the other hand, Maria thanks Kanata for holding the noble down while she was out to get these knights. Turns out, the lady is actually Kana. She then thanks Kanata once again and asks him his name. Kana holds his hand and tries to observe if this is the same hand as the streamer, whereas she feels confident, so Kana shares her name with Kanata. Moreover, she hands him a piece of paper with information about the brothel she works at. Now that went smooth. Furthermore, she starts getting seductive and tells him that if he tells her name to the receptionist at the brothel she works at, they would let him see her immediately. So Kana whispers in Kanata's ear that if he is ever tired of work and wants to release some stress, she can help him with that free of charge. At this point, Kanata cannot believe his ears. He is in shock when Maria shows up. So Kanata notices her and makes an excuse that the sun is going down and they should be heading home now, whereas Maria is mad at Kanata for not inviting her to walk her home, even though their homes are on the same path. Well, Kanata is worried that someone might see them together and will spread some rumor about them. A Sigma male right there. On the other hand, Maria thinks maybe she is mistaken that Kanata is the streamer. Meanwhile, the noble that got arrested is baking in his anger. He cannot believe that a commoner humiliated him that easily. It would be understandable if a princess does this, but a commoner? Hence, he is frustrated and wants revenge immediately. Kanata seems to be streaming and reading letters like usual, but that's where one of his viewers asks him about what kinds of powers he thinks his words have. It interests Kanata into thinking about this concept, so he asks his viewers what they think if he says that he wants to take over the world. Although he is joking, but the girls seem ready to help him achieve that. I wonder if the story will take Eminence in Shadow style. Moreover, they are ready to offer him whatever he needs to take over the world. He tells everyone that he was joking and he does not have any plans of dominating the world. But that's where he suddenly remembers that in his old world, streamers used to get in a lot of trouble just for joking around and saying random stuff. He should be careful about these things. Hopefully this world doesn't have a cancel culture. Although Kanata also wants to do something new with his streams, he is thinking about making a handheld camera possible so he can vlog or do URL streams. That is a very great idea, thinking that is something literally everyone does when they are bored. Suddenly a donation of 10 gold coins pops up. It is from Maria and she is saying I love you to the streamer. So the streamers say it back, which melts Maria in a heartbeat. The next day, Kanata is in the class. He seems very tired and is laying with his head on the desk, so he eavesdrops on the next two girls talking about a rumor. They seem to be discussing the rumor that Agula of the CES class is the real streamer. At this point, Kanata is listening very carefully. He is surprised to know that there are his viewers in his class as well, but he decides that he cannot afford fakes to appear and take his spot. Therefore, he is going to tell everyone in the stream that the rumors are not true. Moreover, he is worried that this backfires on him because the viewers might find him fishy and think, why does he know about all this rumor? And would conclude that he is a student after all. While he is thinking about all this very carefully, he notices that Alfana is also listening to those two girls talk and she is giggling. Looks like she knows the truth, So the girl asks her why she is giggling like that. However, she does not respond and ignores them. So Kanata goes to the SES class to find out what is happening. Looks like no one is believing Agula and is insulting him about lying, whereas Kanata is a little relieved but is still curious. After school, Kanata follows Agula. He listens to him say that he does not like the streamer and wants his fame for himself. Moreover, he wants his family to be more reputable. So it makes Kanata wonder how foolish this man is because he does not know he needs an unlimited amount of power to be a streamer. It is not easy. So that makes their powers equivalent to Wi-Fi. Just a thought, nothing else. Anyways, Maria and Alfana show up behind Kanata. So Kanata asks them about what they're doing here. Turns out they are also there to find out what Agula is up to. Furthermore, Alfana asks Kanata if he knows the streamer, but he does not respond, so Alfana shares that she is a fan of the streamer. It shocks Maria, so Alfana explains that in the church she has very little time to relax, so she listens to the streamer because his voice calms her down and makes her feel very relaxed. At this point, Kanata has nothing to say about this. Meanwhile, Agula is saying harsh things about the streamer, whereas Maria and Alfana are not liking this any bit. But Kanata seems happy to know that both of them are also one of his listeners. Anyways, Maria says that anyone who tries to sabotage someone she cares about is going to pay. Even though Alfana agrees with her, they ask Kanata how he feels about Agula. He gets hesitant to respond though. He says that Agula should not be lying and that the streamer would also not like it if anyone gets punished because of him. Suddenly, a portal appears in front of Agula, so Alfana and Maria feel a demonic power arise. It is none other than Shruza and her assistant demon. She asks Agula if he is the streamer, whereas Agula is shocked and is not responding. So Shruza feels his mana and thinks it is not possible with such low power to send a signal across dimensions. Therefore, she kidnaps Agula and goes back to her realm, while Maria, Alfana, and Kanata are left surprised to see a demon. They are trying to figure out what just happened, and hence, once again, a portal appears behind them, and it is Shruza's assistant demon. He shows up and throws Agula unconscious in front of them and explains that Shruza is done scolding Agula for lying. At this point, Maria and Alfana are at peace now that Agula has learned his lesson. However, the demon explains that Shruza was very upset that this guy was impersonating the streamer. The demon explains further that even in the demon realm, the streamer is the one everybody listens to, and especially Shruza the demon lord. It delights Maria and Alfana to know that the demon feels the same fangirly energy. However, the demon says that he is willing to accept Kanata as the streamer more than Agula, so Kanata tries to play along and hopes that his poker face is working, whereas Maria is more suspicious now that a demon picked up the same energy from Kanata as she did. Meanwhile, Alfana tells the demon that Maria will be restraining herself and will be reporting this to the authorities. Hence, the demon leaves immediately. Now that Kanata and Alfana are sitting together after all this and thinking about the hectic day they just experienced, Alfana thanks Kanata for saving them before, although Kanata looks at Agula and picks him up as he does not want to leave him alone. He even picks Agula and he gains back his consciousness. Looks like he is having flashbacks of Shruza scolding him and screaming out the streamer's name while asking him to help. A few days later, Kanata is in his room thinking about what the demon told him. He is wondering if the demon lord heard about the ceasefire and that is why she offered it. So he goes outside and sees a lady, she is beautiful, and asks Kanata if he can show her around the town. However, she looks new here, although her identity is unknown at this point. She is the assassin, I think. Now that Kanata is showing this new lady around who is not a human, of course. She is Shruza, of course, my man. However, she is very enlightened by the environment. She seems to like the place. Moreover, Kanata is also having fun guiding her through this town. However, Kanata asks if this is her first time visiting this town, so she says yes, this is her first time. Hence, Kanata offers to show her a beautiful spot where she would love to be. He then takes her to a nice view of the capital. It surprises the lady to see such a beautiful scenario. At this point, she regrets trying to destroy such a beautiful place. However, Kanata picks up a weird vibe from her, so he picks up the courage and asks her if she is even a human. She is amazed that Kanata saw through the disguise and shows her true self immediately. Turns out it is Shruza, of course. Told yeah. Kanata is baffled because he has felt this aura before. So Shruza introduces herself, and so does Kanata. Moreover, Shruza cuts herself and Kanata off the world, making a different dimension in which only Kanata can see her and no one else. So Shruza asks Kanata what his thoughts are about demons. Kanata reveals that he thinks demons are just like humans. Furthermore, he says that humans and demons have been fighting for ages, and he is sure even demons shed tears. Whereas Shruza agrees and says it does not feel good to know that one of their comrades is dead. On the other hand, Kanata adds that humans and demons should try to get along. It will be tough for sure, but they can do it if they want. At this point, Shruza is very happy to listen to all this as it reminds her of the streamer. Moreover, Shruza notices that Kanata's powers are very high and even exceed her. So she compliments him. Surprisingly, Shruza holds Kanata's hand and says that both humans and demons should walk hand in hand like allies. Whereas Kanata feels that she is a lot like a human and is showing deep emotions. Hence, Kanata explains that there is a guy streamer in this world that he really likes. He says that the streamer also has the same opinions as him, and she likes his thoughts on this topic. Furthermore, she adds that it was his words that she changed and is thankful. So Kanata asks her about the streamer and if he is also popular in the demon realm. To which she replies that he is fairly popular and everybody likes him other than elder demons, but that is not a problem. It makes Kanata wonder what it would be like to see the demon realm. So Shruza offers him that he can come next time and no one would stop him if he is with her. At this point, Kanata is surprised by this offer. Anyways, Shruza went back to the demon realm, while Kanata is wondering how his day just went and how strange it was. A little later, Kanata returns home and starts streaming after reading fan letters for a bit. He decides to end the stream earlier today and sleep, so he says goodbye to his viewers and gets to his bed. He seems very tired from being the tour guide and says goodnight to himself and falls asleep. What a lonely dude, even after being the best streamer. The assassin girl shows up in his room while Kanata is asleep. We then get a flashback from some days before when Kanata embarrassed the noble. So the noble got sent back to his home country. Moreover, he called the crow and handed him a job. And when the crow asks about the target, noble gives her the files and it is Kanata. Even the crow is surprised to see that it is a commoner and not another noble of a royal member. She thinks the job will be easy. Whereas Noble starts rambling that he will never forgive this commoner and what he did to him in front of all those people. Anyways, the crow ignores him and goes straight to work. She gets to the capital where she starts gathering intel on who this man is and where he lives. However, all she finds is that he is nothing but a good person who is a student. Moreover, she also gets to know that this guy saved people on more than one occasion. Hence, she feels guilty about killing a good man but quickly reminds herself that she has taken the job and cannot back off now. Everyone has feelings and necessities. Moreover, she sees a couple holding hands and walking in love. And for some unknown reason, she falls in love with the streamer and thinks about how a person from another side of the screen has this much effect on her. Furthermore, she thinks of herself as someone who is hiding her true self. She thinks that she and the streamer are alike in this regard. They both are hiding their true personas just to make a living. Hence, she thinks they both are similar and this made her bond even stronger with the streamer. At this point, the assassin had ignored the calls for Job to listen to him. She is that much in love with him. She even remembers the day when the streamer asked if someone knew about some pretty weird and rare jobs, so she replied and told him about her job. Even though Kanata thinks being an assassin is a little dark, he thinks they are cool. It melts the assassin girl as he says that assassins are pretty scary, including their employers. But he is fascinated by the fact that assassins live in darkness and kill people with all their stealthy skills. It is pretty cool unless you are the target. Anyways, the assassin spaced out for too long. He has to complete her job, so she gets to the target's location and she sees that the window is open. Therefore, she immediately gets in the room. On the other hand, Kanata is about to start his stream, and he says to himself, "Time to start the stream." The crow hears this as she is standing behind him and seems confused. Is he the streamer? Kanata then goes to close his windows so no one would listen to him, whereas the crow jumps to the ceiling and hides. She cannot believe that she is watching the streamer in real life, streaming live, as Kanata starts his stream and is chatting and interacting with his viewers, while the crow is on the ceiling and trying to not make a little bit of noise. She does not want him to notice her. On the other hand, we see the noble that sent her thinking she would have done the job by now. He is in peace knowing Kanata is probably dead, but little does he know, Crow is a fan of him. Anyways, the crow is watching the streamer do his thing from the VIP seat. We then get to the present day where Kanata is sleeping and the crow is watching him. Although the crow is also a human after all, she gets tired of sticking to the ceiling. Her saliva drops from her open mouth right on Kanata's forehead. He immediately wakes up and gets shocked. He notices her up there and asks her who she is and what she is doing in his room. Even assassins get caught. However, she is a little relieved that he saw her and responds. She introduces herself as a normal human and seems pleased to meet the streamer, whereas Kanata has no idea what he has gotten himself into and his stream will no longer be the same. Kanata is just super worried and doesn't know what to do since his identity has been exposed. However, the poor girl just ends up bowing in front of him, promising she's a fan and won't hurt him. He decides to believe her, but at least wants to know who she is, so she introduces herself as Mira, as she bears her adorable canines but can also go by Crow. She also fails to mention the deadly assassin. He proceeds to scan her surroundings while she sits on the floor, looking up at him with admiration, and notices the giant sword lying on the ground next to her as he words his thoughts, saying Crow like the bird. He finds it quite unbelievable that the tiny girl in front of him is claiming to be the legendary assassin Crow. He realizes his thoughts have been around in a loop, and this might not be working out really well. Of course it is not. He was getting stalked. But what baffles him most is why a legendary assassin would be sneaking into his room and hanging from the ceiling just to watch him sleep. Mira repeats that it is only because she is such a devoted fan. Poor Kanata just rubs his head thinking how this didn't happen in his last life at all when Mira notices he's troubled and asks if she's the reason. When he admits it is her, she immediately seems to understand, takes her sword, and bids him farewell even when he tries to stop her. Such unconditional love. What she's really trying to do is not leave but end her own life for being a nuisance to her favorite streamer, whom she now refers to as my lord. Kanata has to practically force her to put the sword down because he can't believe she is actually going to die. He really can't decide what's wrong with her. Mira looks at Kanata lovingly, saying if he considers her an annoying nuisance, then she clearly has no value as a living being. She continues to stare at him while he thinks to himself how he can't take it anymore. She's the type to actually unalive herself if that's what he commanded her to do. Moreover, he believes she's way far ahead of Yandere's or even Manhwa's and has a totally different mental health issue altogether. But she's so far gone that he might actually cry out of concern for her. Kanata silently blames himself for her mental state, saying it's his fault when she notices something is wrong and asks if he's okay. He chooses his next words very carefully. You never know when girls might be giving their lives for you. He says even though she was troubling him, that's now what he wanted to happen. He can't think straight but tells her not to die for the time being. Also, if she were to chop her head off, the blood would be difficult to clean. Mira is extremely cheerful and bubbly when she asks if she should perform the beheading elsewhere. Of course, she doesn't want to cause him any more trouble than she already has, but he seems frustrated when she fails to see that's not the problem here. He can't help but wonder what's wrong with her. Mira chose this moment to innocently reveal that he's the only one who knows her true name and identity, but Kanata is smart enough to know that this information alone puts him at risk, and he might get killed just for knowing who she is. However, Mira is confident that no one would be able to harm him since she would get rid of them right away. Despite all this, he still doesn't believe that she's Crow. Does he really need further proof? But she's more than happy to prove it to him. She's also quite good at concealing her presence. She proceeds to demonstrate and disappears from right in front of his eyes. Kanata is really surprised. This is not a spell since he didn't feel any magic at all and calls out to her, wondering where she went. Suddenly, he hears her voice saying she's right in front of him, so he extends his arms just to confirm that she's really there. Obviously, his hands land right on her chest. He immediately retracts and feels all kinds of embarrassment and awkwardness as he apologizes, but it's fine because just being touched by him makes her ecstatic. Finally, he seems to go back to his original question of why she's in his room again, and she tells him about the noble who sent her to take revenge. I guess he's lucky she turned out to be a fan. Mira warns him even such acts can get him killed, but as a result she's really happy she got to meet the man of her dreams. He does ask her if she's decided not to kill him anymore, just in case, but she tells him not to worry and will protect him from harm instead. She even changes her mission to kill the noble who put this request in. Mira spends the next day stalking Kanata and wonders when his magic lessons will end. Though she's called a traitor for not finishing the job she took on, she easily handles that issue by saying they shouldn't needlessly kill people. Kanata finally admits that she's great as his bodyguard as she protects him from all kinds of threats, but having her next to him does feel a little intimidating. Back at his house, Mira notices his terminal lighting up and Kanata wonders if the letters he ordered are finally here. However, his eyes go wide with shock as he stares at the screen in front of him, displaying a message in big bold letters, "Streamer, you are a mass murderer." That's obviously coupled with a lot of negative comments about how his fans don't believe he would go to such an extent just to be famous, and they can't forgive his sins. Mira tries her best to see what's so shocking that Kanata is as still as a statue. His fans believe casting his voice over such a large streaming platform would require huge amounts of mana. But no matter how much he saved, he would be dead if he was doing this on his own. In other words, he needs the mana of a large number of humans, and they think he's killing people to maintain his mana source. The comments just keep coming with all kinds of hate aimed towards his presumed actions, claiming they won't forgive him. Kanata can't believe that the rumor spread in just a few days and is frantic because he's been using his own mana. Mira takes this time to sniff his bedsheets. Kanata knows this issue is going to be a pain and Mira asks what's wrong. He explains that in his past life, it was rumors like these that caused assumptions and ended with celebrities receiving weird labels. He definitely doesn't want to end up like them, and his attention finally goes to what Mira is doing as he asks what she was doing with his bed earlier. The narrator then starts explaining how the streamer's voice has actually started to make a change in this world. Everyone is fond of listening to Kanata's streams and hearing what he says. Needless to say, the Kanata has made a lot of enemies on the way. One of those is a guy named Rikba. Rikba is a guy who wants to beat Kanata in terms of streaming and take his spot. He has a plan of getting the mana needed for streaming from all the slaves he owns, but he isn't getting a lot of mana from them. Rikba is really pissed off about the movement Princess Maria started that resulted in all the slaves being released. Yeah, his investment was not that profitable. Every one of Kanata's listeners was planning on making a change in this world following his words, and there were guys like Rikba that were getting smashed around because of it. Anyways, Rikba is trying to squeeze as much mana as he can get, but this is not enough. He starts torturing the slaves because they aren't of any use to him. He wants to stream all night like the streamer, but there is not enough charge in the people he has. Rikba is on the verge of breaking down because he cannot understand how this streamer guy can stream all night. Someone give this guy some mana because he is going haywire. In a way, these people are giving off Wi-Fi to sustain the stream all night, but they don't have enough MBs. Yeah, a strange analogy, but it works, I think. Rikba's butler comes up to him and slaps in with a fact telling him that if he keeps torturing these slaves, they will die. They would have to buy a new stock of slaves for a much more expensive price. But the real problem is that there are none left to buy. All the slaves are released after Princess Maria's inner enlightenment, and they have to make use of these for the sake of challenging the streamer. The whole market itself is no longer available, and this guy wanted to buy some new stuff. This pisses off Rikba, and he tries to think of a way to get the mana he requires. He asks if they managed to do the job he told them yesterday. He wanted his workers to capture an SS-level adventurer and get his mana. His soldier did what he asked and captured the adventurer, but they managed to get mana for only 5 minutes worth of stream out of him. I mean, 5 minutes ain't that bad. This is not enough for him, and he is even more skeptical of how Streamer does his streams. He starts thinking that Streamer has a lot of mana, and he got all of it by killing thousands of people. Rikba is planning to spread this rumor to the public and wants to see their reactions. His soldiers spread rumors as well while he plans to stream using mana for 5 minutes and unveil the streamer's secrets. In the present day, Kanata and Mira are in his room, listening to his viewers saying dumb stuff about him. Mira gets really mad and asks to slay these people off for him, but Kanata doesn't want anything of the sort. He wants to just let them be and ignore everything. She is an assassin after all. This is a piece of cake for her. Mira wants to take their organs and sell them, but Kanata doesn't agree on this. And here he thought all of his listeners were soft people. Obviously, Mira is not one of them. She is made for killings. Kanata is tired of listening to the weird stuff people are saying about him and wants to go for a walk. Mira also wants to join him, but Kanata tells her to not let people see her with him. She is offended a little, thinking that Kanata has a feeling that she is kind of a stalker. Anyways, they go outside and it's a lovely night. Kanata actually feels good and Mira is just there, looking at him. Suddenly, Rikpa starts its stream and begins talking, calling everyone a fool. Kanata and Mira are listening to everything he says and are paying close attention. He starts his evil rumor and tells everyone that they might already know about this, but do you know about the streamer's evil doings? This Rikpa guy has dug a grave for himself just now. He starts rambling about all the evil Kanata has done and is planning on doing further. Rikpa, my guy, are you that done with your life? He takes his 5 minutes and tells everything to the public. Some people start believing him and think he is right, but on the other hand, Maria, Alfana, and others are in denial and don't believe a word he says. They are more pissed off than Kanata himself and want to take this guy's intestines and wrap around him. Yeah, they just want to kill him. No big deal. This is the start of the streamer's rumor, and it's going to get even worse from here cause we all know how these things affect the world. Mira is really pissed and is looking like she is planning to kill anyone in her sight right now. Kanata asks if she is okay and she suddenly feels good, hearing her name from Kanata's mouth. She was about to blast everything around her in meters, but Kanata was next to him, so she controlled herself and everything was good. Kanata is also mad and wants to take revenge himself. He decides to ask Mira if she can give him a favor. Mira is delighted to do anything her Lord Streamer wants and is serving him now. Rikpa doesn't have the slightest idea that he stepped on a sleeping tiger's tail and is about to be brutally punished for it. Rikpa is one sorry fellow after all he did. With all the slander and rumors spreading against Kanata, it looks like the streamer squadron of Yandere females is in full cheering mode. Kanata goes to school the next day, but it isn't really easy for him. After classes end for the day, he's sitting outside, completely by himself since he's a friendless loner in real life, when sees 2 girls sitting on a bench in front of him discussing the latest drama. He overhears their conversation and one of them seems particularly concerned, asking if it's true that the streamer kills people, just like Rikpa said. The other girl really doesn't have an answer because in their world it's not possible for any one person to acquire so much mana to stream all night unless it's by draining it from other people. He's stuck in a pretty bad situation. How is he supposed to explain he's been reincarnated in this world? Anyway, this new announcement is sending some pretty big waves that worry Kanata. Earlier, a lot of people had asked him how he was able to pull it off and if he could teach them as well, but he only had one simple answer. He could do it because he was himself. The infinite magical energy that he gained when he reincarnated is apparently a one-of-a-kind ability in this world. He can cast high-class magic repeatedly without worrying about mana and is also immune to any enemies in dungeons that suck out magical energy. He has it so rough that if he ever accidentally lets his guard down, he ends up surpassing everyone else. But since he's the first of his kind, no one is going to believe him. Thus, he decides it's best to keep this power to himself, because it's all good as long as he can continue his streams. However, he can't help but worry if his antis are still in the middle of forming conspiracy theories, but he just crosses his fingers and hopes it doesn't blow up in his face. Suddenly, Mira Akakro shows up behind him, apologizing for being late and making him wait. She seems to have scared him and asks if he's alright, but he's just shocked to see her unexpectedly and tells her not to show up out of the blue again. She presents a piece of paper as she promises she's done her best to gather as much information as possible. It's irrelevant that she had no choice but to use force in some places, but there's no way she could ignore an order from him. Mira even refers to him as my lord. He's grateful as he thanks her but tells her to stop being so violent when all of a sudden she falls onto the floor. Of course, Kanata gets worried, but she's just in disbelief that an assassin like her is being thanked by her favorite streamer as she loses consciousness and falls asleep right on the street. Dramatic much. Kanata learns the stream defaming him came from a small country pretty far from Ataraxia, and a noble from Senthi is behind all this. As a result, a group of envious streamers has turned into a full-fledged organization. That's worse than blowing up. He appreciates Mira for all the detailed and accurate information she's brought him. She wakes up immediately, rubbing her eyes, and offers to go collect some more right away if he wants it. Once he asks if she's fine with it, she happily runs off to perform the task she's been assigned, and he can't believe she disclosed the truth in no time at all. He recalls the night when he asked her for a favor to look into the stream using her network information because it's so easy for her to trespass, but she just tells him to leave it to her. More details on the rumors include things like the streamer gains the trust of former slaves and supports them, but in reality takes all their magical energy. That's a new one. Another possibility suggests that those supporting him are currently brainwashed, so ending his existence would be the only way to stop his horrid crimes. Kanata is really disappointed that it's not just him, but his listeners too that are being relentlessly attacked with these selfish assumptions. Still, there are only a few among his fans who believe the rumors, while others like his Yandere support group. He can't leave it alone because he knows that if he does, in some way or the other it will come back to bite him, quite literally, and is looking for an easy way to solve this misunderstanding, but if only his words were enough. However, just then it clicks in his mind that he can show his hands during the stream and thinks of something like recreating the school entrance exam. That might apparently change everything for him, though it seems difficult at this point. He remembers the ball they had to touch at the start of the exam, an item to classify the amount of mana they have, which just might prove his truth. He urgently needs a mana measurement orb which would prove to his streamers he's using his own mana. The problem now is that it's too expensive and no one would give it to an ordinary student. Princess Maria and Alfana are watching him from behind a tree. Maria thinks he's worried about the lies spreading about the streamer, but Alfana is trying to find a way to help him since she knows his identity. She wants to rid the world of sinners for Lord Kanata. They walk up to him and he seems surprised to see them, but is also relieved that he's seen them in time just to keep his cover. However, Maria assures him he's a kind and trustworthy person who would help anyone in need. So it's only natural that when he's in need, it's their duty to help him out and ask him to share his burden. They just happen to be born with power and influence, so they can use it to help others as they try to convince Kanata that he can rely on them. Kanata ponders for a moment but eventually decides to trust them asking for a favor. But before that, he apologizes and admits that he's the streamer, as if they didn't already know. Kanata really thought he was out there making a do-or-die confession to two girls who already knew his true identity. They stare at him with wide eyes, but the only reason Alfana kept quiet was to respect his privacy. He thinks that their reaction is like this because they've been told such a big secret all of a sudden, so they're speechless. He also believes that no matter how close he is to them, it was still a rash way to tell them. Now he doubts if they'll even believe him in the first place, and Alfana apologizes. Well, it's his turn to be shocked when Alfana calls him Lord Kanata and admits that she knew all along. He drops to his knees and wonders if she's joking as he asks her how long she's known. She responds saying ever since they met. She explains that he had a small wound on his hand, and right after that he showed his hands on stream and she knew for sure. Princess Maria, however, is astonished that Lord Kanata was the streamer, but she's excited too because her intuition was right. She claims that she knew it too because his accent was familiar, so it was surprisingly easy. Kanata realizes that he had unknowingly given them information that helped them identify him, but he's glad they didn't share this information with anybody else. It's only natural they would keep this to themselves. Alfana steps up and holds Kanata's hands, assuring him that even if they knew, they're his fans, so they wouldn't do anything that could cause trouble for him. Otherwise, they wouldn't have anything to call themselves true die-hard fans. Well, that's a whole new level of commitment. Maria backs up Alfana by telling Kanata that she's right and they want to continue hearing his voice and are looking forward to hearing his words with the same fearless attitude as before. However, she does go a little crazy when he calls her princess, but she asks him to treat her in the same way as he talks to Alfana. Thus, the two girls declare themselves Lord Kanata's allies, a princess and a priestess ready to grant him whatever he asks for. He decides they can be trusted with the favor he's about to ask because even if they knew his secret, they didn't expose it. But he senses them acting a little unusual and different towards him, almost scary. Maybe it's just his imagination. They're actually standing quite close to him and just staring at his face. He's worried about what someone might think if they saw them standing like this or heard their conversation. Alfana seems to understand what's bothering him and asks if he's wondering why there are no people around. She admits she cast a spell to ward off other people before they started talking because when she saw his face, he already looked like he didn't want anyone to know what they were discussing. Once this matter is settled, he tells them he's worried regarding the rumors spreading about the streamer and they both already seem to know about it. I doubt there's anyone left who hasn't heard of it. Princess Maria exclaims that she's constantly been requesting her mother and father to do something about it, and because of a mysterious cooperator, they've already figured out the root source. She's so efficient the investigations are already complete. Kanata immediately thinks of Mira. Marita says Kanata is being called a mass murderer, but no such cases have been found in the country. However, it can be acknowledged that the way he does his job streaming all night long takes more mana than any normal person can have. Thus, all the leaders of the country, including her parents, started to think he had more mana than everyone and everything else in this country. Wow, they're just as good as Sherlock. This, or that he has a device, unknown to them, that is being used to create mana. Even though she hit the nail on the head with the first guess, she gets flustered in case Kanata might think she's trying to be intrusive. It would be a bad thing to do as a fan. Alfana also says, even if he didn't rely on them, he has a lot more supporters who are already moving to this issue quickly, because Lord Streamer's name now has a very big meaning in this world. Not only the elite, but he also has the never-ending support of the common folk. So many of his believers will never forgive any actions that trouble him. That's the least to be expected from Yandere females. Kanata doesn't want anyone else to clean up his messes and takes responsibility by proving his innocence with his own hands. Finally, after this heartfelt conversation, Maria and Alfana are over the moon at the opportunity of working with him. He shares his plan. Kanata reminds them of the orb from the school's entry test. They certainly remember it as a valuable item that's probably locked up in the school somewhere in a secure location, but he says he needs it to solve this problem. Maria, as a princess, promises to make them give it to him, while Alfana, as a priestess, grants him permission herself. No matter how the situation turns out, they guarantee him they'll take responsibility. They're moving in even closer to him now. At last, the streamer and his supporters join hands to stop the rumors once and for all to try and save his reputation. Since school is done for the day, Kanata can finally focus on getting a bunch of stuff ready for the next day. Moreover, he's really grateful to both Alfana and the princess for agreeing to help him, and he decides to take a break from streaming tonight to make as many preparations as he can. The disappointment on their faces is real. He declares that the plan begins tomorrow at 6 in the evening at the meeting place, and the girls assure him they've got it covered. Later that evening, Princess Maria knocks at Alfana's door, and she wonders what's wrong, asking if it's about Kanata. Maria immediately loses it, frantically asking Alfana if he's really Lord Streamer. Alfana realizes she really didn't know his true identity. Well, first of all, Alfana asks Maria to calm down. She's literally swaying her around, but Marina says there's no way she can relax since she just discovered her idol is her very own classmate. Alfana politely urges her to stop destroying the room. However, it's shortly fixed with magic. Once she can breathe again, she says she had always been suspicious because she noticed that his way of speaking was quite familiar. Alfana instructs her to stop murmuring and just use their future meetings to make him fall for her. But poor Princess Maria is confused about whether to call him Lord Kanata or Lord Streamer. This sends her thinking that if she's already worried about what to call him, aren't they already practically married? I think she got off the wrong foot here, as she wonders when to start planning the wedding. In her head, a furious Alfana is screaming she'll be Kanata's bride and not Maria. Luckily, in order to prevent a huge war for his hand, Alfana is able to keep these thoughts under control. She takes a more peaceful approach, seeing Maria is already on cloud 9 and decides to address this issue before Maria uses her rights as a princess to get him. Alfana tells Maria to be quiet as she tells him to call him Lord Kanata at school so they won't cause him any trouble. She even threatens Maria and says she won't forgive her even if they're friends if she causes him any sort of harm. Maria hasn't seen such a vicious expression on her face since she replaced her alarm clock with a bomb when they were 5. Alfana says they must think clearly because once this is all over, they'll be the only ones to know his identity. In other words, they'll be ahead of all his fans, so it's their duty to support him in any way they can. Indeed, the number of people who are aware of Kanata's identity is still small. The rest are still disappointed when there's no live stream tonight. Thus, they decide to support him from the shadow in any way they can. Well, that's how they are supposed to act too as Lord Streamer's devoted fan club. If they were listed as Yandere listeners before, they are definitely more than that now. Alfana and Maria decide to be allies since they're already friends. A princess and a saintess come together for the support of one man. However, they still can't decide who'll be number 1. Alfana insists she's the first person in the world to know his identity, while Maria argues she recognized his real talents before. Never mind, they're just Yanders. Anyways, since it's the night before the revolution, they decide to use the VOD's video on demands to raise the morale for tomorrow. And luckily there aren't any classes tomorrow, so the girls spend the night singing and dancing about their love for Kanata throughout the night. It's Haitian Academy's very own fall sports festival. Around the same time, from Kanata's POV, he decides the plan begins tomorrow at 6 in the meeting place. Even if it's just to stop the misunderstanding, he can't wait to do the special stream, but he's got to prepare. He doubts the guard standing outside his room is going to help an ordinary student like him. He thinks of how there's only one person who can get him out of this situation, and suddenly there she is. Mira appears behind him as she sneaks him out, and he wonders just how long she's been standing there. She insists she's just arrived. Anyways, she wonders what he needs from the capital so late in the night, and Kanata says he needs to visit an adult who he's certain can help him with this dilemma. Once they arrive, they meet Kana, who claims she was waiting for him and is super excited to get right down to business. But that's not the kind of business he's here for. Kanata is willing to pay any amount for her to make a costume urgently and also asks for an introduction to someone. Mira and Kanata end up going round the capital until it's dawn, and Mira asks him where to next. He decides to head to the armor shop with only 1 hour left before the meeting time. It's finally time and they'd arrive at their destination. Kanata is amazed to see the huge palace that Maria has arranged for his stream. Can they even rent a place like that? He puts on his costume and thinks his allies have all done a great job. He can even consider commissioning them next time. His equipment, including the camera, is all set up, and now comes the hard part, getting Maria and Alfana ready. They both seem really nervous, so he assures them they don't have to do this, but they're determined. The idea is to tell people he's not a commoner, and their presence will make the lie more believable. The previous day they discussed that Kanata should reveal his identity. With the current situation, they couldn't possibly have people finding out that he's just a student living on dormitory school grounds. They can't possibly have that happening. After all, Alfana had found his true identity just by looking at his hands. Maria offers they can use her secret villa to conduct the stream. It's so secret and perfectly legal that even her parents don't know about it. But even if it's a secret, wouldn't a villa be easy to spot? Maria tells them not to worry, as people wouldn't be able to spot it even if they were staring right at it. Alfana's magic from being a priestess could easily ward off the people and divert their attention from it. It causes people not to care for the affected area. That's essentially how the magic works. However, she'll modify it so Kanata can see the barrier. Moreover, if Alfana mixes her magic with Kanata's while he streams, they can do so freely without worrying about anyone tracking their location. Alfana had mastered that sacred magic in one day that's passed down from priestess to priestess. She has to be by his side so he doesn't get found out, and Maria needs to open up her villa. Kanata decides to thank them again later, but he suddenly feels something move on the walls. Turns out Mira had only pretended to leave. She settles in with her drink, telling him to stream to his heart's content because she was there to protect him. Mira really lived up to her name, as she was even able to get past Alfana's barrier. At last, it's time for the stream, as the audience, including Kana and the Demon Queen, wait in anticipation. Kanata tells Alfana and Maria to get ready, as he admits he's nervous too, but this is just an evolution of streaming. It's the world's first attempt at a stream like this, so he's definitely gotta enjoy it. Rigba and his army of haters wait for Kanata to come up with some excuse, thinking it's going to be his final stream and he's probably just going to reveal his hands along with his awful voice. He orders his minions to go for bringing him down at any opening they see. Suddenly, everyone who is watching the stream, his Yandere listeners, Rigba, and even the king himself are shocked when he goes live but is still wearing a mask. He addresses all of his viewers with great enthusiasm, and just like that, the curtains to what would be called the legend of the streamer had been raised for a short time. MC just started the stream, and this time, he is wearing some kind of a mask and hiding his face. Whenever he comes on the stream, the whole world goes crazy, and this time is no different. People get crazy getting the notification about him being on the stream right now. Everyone gets their phone and opens the stream only to find him in a mask. This confuses everyone, but MC promises to explain this. They just have to wait. MC starts the stream and tells everyone that they might find it very confusing as to why he is hiding his face, but there is a big reason behind this. He explains that recently, a country has made some allegations that he murders people to stream online, and this is the reason he doesn't reveal his identity. He wants them to know that this is just an excuse to take him down because they are jealous of him. Who wouldn't be jealous of someone who streams and literally the whole world watches them? He goes on to say that he doesn't care that these allegations are being directed at him, but he thanks the person who started this rumor. Saying this, MC takes Mantis's name and calls him an idiot, saying that he is just jealous, and thanks him that because of him, he is getting a better night of sleep nowadays. Now he has a thing to share with his viewers and tells them that he is going to show them. The comments section gets very excited and can't wait to see what he is going to show them. He wants them to not rush him though, and now he forwards the camera to Alfana and Maria in his room. Doing this, he explains that these two are here on his stream with him and wants them to introduce themselves. Maria introduces herself, saying that she is the third princess of this city, and Alfana says that she is the saintess of the city, and they ask MC to bring them on his stream. They are here to help him with something, and this doesn't sit right with Shruvza. She cannot believe that someone else is helping MC, and it is not her. He was kind enough to let them be on it without anything in return. The comments section gets crazy, saying things here and there. One person comments saying that Maria told them the city's name, and this implies that MC lives in that city as well. What was he thinking doing this? He is gone for sure now. He asks Alfana to cast the spell. She says some things and casts a spell on every viewer watching him, which makes them forget what they were told just now. She has asked the viewers to just focus on what MC is telling them and not anything else. This works, and the viewers forget the name of the city and even what they were thinking that exact second. That was not expected. The comments start getting very tame and everyone starts to be focused on just MC and nothing else. Now he wants them to stay focused and see what he is going to show them. Mantis sees this and doesn't remember who this guy is, but he knows that he is an important person and he has to watch his stream. MC allows Alfana to come forward and do what she was told. She comes forward and gets the orb out, which detects how much mana a person has. Princess comes forward as well and places her hands on the orb, making it shine golden-like. This proves that Maria has the mana, which can be ranked as an SSS rank. This is the highest a person can go. Now that the viewers know this, MC wants them to take a look at what happens when he puts his hands on it. Before that, he tells the viewers that he has an infinite amount of mana, and this is the way he powers his streams all day. He can supply the mana needed for his stream by himself, and there is no need to get any help from the outside world. The viewers do not believe this and want him to prove this. The last night, Crow and MC were together when MC thought of a way to prove he is innocent by using the mana orb. He has to get his mana into the orb and reveal it the next day in front of the viewers. Crow feels like the viewers may still not be convinced, and they might say that this is again one of his tricks that he uses to lie to the world. MC knows this and has a backup in case. He is going to allow Maria and Alfana to come onto the stream to vouch for him and even compare their manas to his. This sounds like a good idea to her, and MC goes to put his mana inside the orb. He wants the crow to look at it when he does this, and saying this, he puts his hands on the orb, making it shine. But it isn't shining with one color. First, it shines like golden, but then it goes to black and then back to a little more vibrant golden. It feels like his mana is trying to escape the orb but cannot. The time has come and MC comes forward to prove himself right. He puts his hands on the orb and it starts glowing like a rainbow this time. Maria and Alfana have never seen this color, and even MC is shocked to see it. The orb suddenly starts floating and it starts running away, getting out of the window. The orb is out and MC didn't catch it, and now he wants Maria's and Alfana's help to get it back. They are born ready to help their lord and go behind the orb. They go out the window and look up at the sky, getting stunned. Everyone watches the stream and sees that the streamer has gone out the window and is looking up in the sky. Every viewer of his goes out and looks at the sky as well, and it is leaving everyone shocked. They cannot believe their eyes, and what they are witnessing is real or not. Some think that this is some kind of a miracle, and some think that this is some kind of magic performed by the streamer himself. But the thing is, he doesn't have the slightest idea what is happening here. What happened is that the orb went to the sky and it started glowing, and that made an aurora in the sky. This aurora seems like a miracle to everyone, and everyone is thinking the same thing right now, but no one dares to say it. Alfana takes the orb and explains that maybe the mana in the orb got out and is performing this miracle because of its enormous powers. This sounds like the words everyone is thinking, and everyone agrees with her. This proves that MC was right, and Mantis starts going crazy. He still feels like he is borrowing energy from his slaves and cannot have this much mana in his own body. Can someone please shut this guy up? Let me look at the miracle in peace. The soldiers of Mantis apologize and decide to not attack MC. The thing is pretty good for him, but there is a little problem with it. The thing is, now that MC has proved himself, he is more famous than ever, and the comment sections start going crazy and praising him like he is some kind of a god. MC sees this and feels like everyone is overreacting to this, but Maria and Alfana are more drawn to him than ever because of this. The next day, everyone is eagerly waiting for the streamer to come on the stream and show them some kind of a different miracle, but MC is going here and there trying to find a place to sleep. He feels like getting this famous is an honor and a great feeling, but this comes at the cost of his sleep. He is trying to find a place to sleep, but no one is leaving him alone. He looks at Maria and Alfana, and they are getting the worst treatment by everyone around them. They are constantly being asked about the streamer from them. Everyone wants to know what the streamer was like behind the scenes. But they get out of there. The class starts and MC takes the class as usual. After the class is finished, he is going to go home and sleep when he sees some nobles taking crap about the streamer in front of Maria and Alfana. They both insult them and want them to know that their jealousy is never going to take them far. We get to see that Rikpa has gotten the punishment he deserves and has offered all of his fortune to his slaves before being imprisoned. We see that it was Shruza that made him apologize like that. She sent her people to find him, and now that he is in her hands, she is going to make sure that he is punished before going to prison. MC is walking back when he comes across Alfana standing alone. He asks if she is okay, and she is fine. She comes closer to him and with a sad face, she asks if he is going to stop his streaming because of all the weird attention he is getting. He assures Alfana that that is never going to stop him, and he is going to make sure that he enjoys every second of the stream. Alfana takes a breather and tells him that she and Mari are very worried about him. MC goes home and gets ready to stream. He looks around the room to see if Mira is around, but she isn't. She suddenly gets out of the table and scares him. She tells him that she is going to guard him from now on, and she is retired from being the crow. This gets him more attention, as because of him, the frightening crow has vanished and is nowhere to be seen. MC doesn't agree with her and wants her to get back to where she is. He grabs her and drags her out of his room to the church. There, Maria is also waiting to see if the streamer has started the stream, and suddenly she finds MC there himself with Mira. Mira tells Maria that she is MC's guard from now on. Alfana have been guardians of him already. We see Kana also coming to the church to see MC herself. We also see Shruza coming there as well. They both meet and this is some weird meetup. Inside, MC is trying to get rid of Mira when Alfana shows up as well. They are all together now. We get to know that MC can now vlog stream as well, and the possibilities are endless now. Up in the sky, we see the goddess of heaven telling us everything about MC, and she has been watching him from the very start. Reincarnation is just another word to him now, and she feels like letting him be this streamer for a while as it is very interesting. MC is going to go home when all 5 of his fans are together in front of him. He leaves and all of them call his name, trying to get a hold of him,